What up, guys?
What's up?
Hey, how you doing, Austin?
I'm doing all right. How are you doing, Josiah?
Doing good, doing good. We're catching early today in the morning,
All right.
in the AM, in
Yes,
the
right.
in the
So before we get
PSTAM.
started, before we get started, what is your name?
Josiah.
And I'm Austin, and we are the
Super
Super
Cinema
Cinema Bros.
Bros.
Bros, 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 bros,
Bro,
bros,
bro,
bros,
bros, bro,
bros,
bro,
bros,
bro,
bros, bros.
bros.
How you doing, little Charlotte? Let me whisper in your ear. Tell you about a movie you might like to see. Anyway,
Bro. Yes. Yeah.
anyway. All right. So, without much further ado, what movie did we just watch last week on opening day, Mr. Josiah?
Captain America, Brave New
New
World.
World. That's right. So,
In New
let's
York
see.
City.
In the city. Um, I don't actually think it was in New York City. I don't think there's actually any
No,
parts
no, no,
in the
no,
movie
no.
where they're in New York City.
No.
Which is surprising for a Marvel movie because, like, half the superheroes live in New York City, but,
Yeah,
like,
I know, right? Uh-huh.
you know, Spider-Man, Stark, all of those folks.
Yeah,
But, no,
Daredevil.
this was, like,
Yeah,
mostly in DC and, the surrounding areas. Alright,
that's
so
right.
would you like to kinda just give a basic synopsis of the film before we get into it?
I won't like it, but I
Alright,
will. I'll do what's
thank you.
necessary.
Alright,
All right, yeah.
alright. While
So,
you're doing that, I'm gonna wipe off my camera screen real quick.
oh, good. So, Captain America: Brave New World, fourth movie in the Captain America series. We've had Steve Rogers lead the charge in those other three movies. This one, we have Sam Wilson. He has taken up the mantle following the Falcon and Winter Soldier series. If you had not catch that, that's okay. Just know that Sam Wilson is now Captain America. We're almost halfway, mostly fully Captain America at this point. He's still's got some filling of the shoes, kind of mild crisis going on. But I was seen in the other series. That was tackled even more in the other series. We just have a little bit more of that here in this movie too. Anyways, what's full synopsis of the film would be Sam Wilson, um, Captain America partners every now and then with the U.S. military to help uh, fulfill some missions. And the movie opens up with a mission in Mexico trying to stop the Serpent Society from stealing a package, an important package, a mysterious package. Uh, they succeed in stopping that. Giancarlo Esposito plays I'm forgetting the name of the serpent esque. It's definitely not Cobra Commander, but it's
Yeah.
almost the leader of the Serpent Society. I can look it up in a second if we need. Um,
Charismatic bad guy.
Charismatic, slippery snake bad guy number 5.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they wind up recovering this package, and then they get invited out to the White House. That's Sam, his partner Joaquin, Mini Falcon, and well, no, he's not Mini Falcon. He's not Falcon. He's not Falcon yet. And
Falcon
then
Jr.
uh huh,
Yeah.
yeah, and Isaiah, who was a original super soldier that was mistreated by the government, is also invited by Falcon to go out to the White House to celebrate at this event. There's a treaty happening, hopefully between Japan, was it India and
India and France,
France? Yeah, that's right. Mm-hmm. Because
or at least those are the countries that were displayed as part of this treaty. I think
yeah,
there's other countries as well, but they were like some of the main players.
yeah. So
So, yeah.
at this gala slash treaty event at the White House, Sam meets back up with the now president, Thunderbolt Ross, who initially imprisoned him in the Raft Island prison for, I guess it was it was several years. It was during the Blip time period, um, more or less, that he was imprisoned with was it Cap and a couple other of the Avenger characters. Anyways, General is now president. Sam meets up with him. They talk about some things. The event actually goes down, and we see that the treaty is over the now corpse of the Earth Celestial that was forming in the Eternals movie, because they've discovered by mining it there's some important new materials inside of them, and these four nations have come together and are initially fighting over who's going to have full control of it, but the treaty is to try and share control. Um, from there, that winds up being the main drama of the film because some events go down during that treaty. The president is shot at by some people that are attending the event, and yeah, the treaty is falling apart. So throughout the movie, Cap and other characters are trying to figure out what's going on, who's behind this, and uh, simultaneously, Thunderbolt Ross is wanting to get the treaty back online and all the way through. So, by the end of the film, it it goes through, but with two of the countries instead of four of the countries, and we get the big surprise reveal of um, something has happened to Thunderbolt Ross, which you have seen in the trailers, because the main villain, the leader, has seeded this problem inside Thunderbolt Ross. So, anyways, that's more or less kind of what happens during the film. At the end of
Yeah.
the day is saved, but yeah, it's definitely surrounding the espionage sort of mystery of who's led this attack, who's attacked the president, and trying to get the treaty back online. And yeah, not terribly complicated, but yeah, there we go. There we go. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's about as spoiler free ish as we can get. From this
Mm-hmm.
point on, spoiler alert,
Yeah.
because otherwise
Mm-hmm.
there's just no way to talk about the movie.
Yeah. You know
All
how
right.
it is. You know how we do.
Yeah, you know how it goes. All right. So, um, overall takeaways, or just your overall impression of the film.
Mm.
How would you grade it, Josiah?
I enjoyed this film. I know I'm in the minority of that, but I felt like, look, ultimately, I wound up buying into the relationships between characters in the film. I thought the performances, of those relationships was done well. I was engaged by them. I was curious to see what was going to happen with them. I was not thoroughly intrigued by like the plot or story, and that's not something that I walked away from the film just totally bowled over and excited by. But I already knew, there was already a lot of buzz about this film not being good. So I think my expectations were lowered, and I was then pleased by the actual dynamics between characters. Um, so yeah, connecting to my caveat, it doesn't do anything brand new that hasn't been done in movies in general, let alone in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. So I
Right.
understand those frustrations, but I was entertained by the film. How about you, man?
Yeah. So I didn't really hear anything about the movie.
Hmm.
I don't even think I saw the trailer.
Oh wow.
I just knew it was coming out.
Okay.
And for me, it was more of just MCU fatigue in general.
Mm.
Nothing particular about this movie. Like I said, I didn't watch the trailer.
Yeah.
And so I had heard, maybe it wasn't going to be so good. Um, yeah, I think the people that are just determined to hate this movie, it's just kind of holdovers from like, I don't know, they're just trying to read wokeness into everything,
Mm.
like everything's
Sure.
like some attack on their, I don't know,
Yeah.
attack
Yeah.
on something, and they're
Yeah.
expecting it to be just like woke movie, this woke experience, whatever the word woke means, and that's kind of become a nebulous term in and of
Yeah.
itself.
Yeah, yeah,
But I
yeah.
think there's a lot of
Mhm.
people that were expecting it to be all this like social justice jargon that really wasn't in the movie. As far as
Yeah.
I'm concerned, I don't care if it
Yeah.
was in the movie as long as it's executed well, right?
Mm. Yeah. Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I,
Mhm.
I'm kind of I'm kind of neutral to movies that have political views that I either do or don't agree with, or subscribe to or don't subscribe to. I'm all about like, is it a story that's told well? If this is the point of view of the film, does it convey that point of view effectively, winsomely, persuasively?
Yeah.
That's what I care about more than do I agree with this movie? Does it adhere to my worldview as a Christian or whatever the case?
Yeah.
Is
Mhm.
it a good movie? And
True.
so, as
That's
far as this
good.
movie's concerned, it really doesn't tick any of those boxes, the woke boxes, so to speak. I think people
Mm.
are just expecting it to be because there's a black person that's the star, and therefore it has to be woke. Because woke is kind of a buzzword or kind of a filler word when what they really mean is black and talking about black issues. This film doesn't even really do that. The president is an old white guy.
The
Like, I don't know how
president.
much more unwoke you can get. And again, I say these words in air
Mhm.
quotes because like what does woke even mean anymore? It just means like something to something black people, something something LGBT. To my not to correct me if I'm wrong, just I don't think there's any kind of specific LGBT representation in this movie to be seen at all. Like it just wasn't part of the movie.
No, yeah,
So
I can't think of anything that sticks out to me, no.
I think people
Um,
just are just assuming because there's a black guy that stars in it that it has to be some kind of oppression Olympics or something like that. And it wasn't that at all. Like
yeah.
there's none of that in the movie.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, it's just not
They
there.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, they might point a little bit to, the Black Widow follow-up character that we get. I don't remember what her character is in the comics, but, yeah, we'll talk about that later
If
as we get
Yeah,
more
I mean,
into it. Mhm.
she's the tiny little Israeli woman, like,
Mhm.
all right.
Mhm.
Again, like, I mean, aside from the fact that like she can't weigh more than like 95 pounds soaking wet, and she's trying to fight grown men, with armor, like
Yeah.
she's
Yeah.
gonna try to punch him and she's gonna break her hand, break the
Mm.
bones in her fingers. They're gonna pick her up and just, you know.
Mhm.
But aside from that, if you can get past that contrivance, and it's the same contrivance as Shuri as Black Widow, or excuse me, as Black
Yeah.
Panther,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and Scarlett Johansson as Black Widow, right? She's gonna
Totally.
kick all these guys' butts. Like, okay, in this world, that's possible. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Indeed. Yeah.
Again, these women are not super bulky, heavy, muscle bound women. They're just regular women fighting against supernatural creatures. So if you
Mhm.
can accept that conceit in general, then there's no issue in this movie in particular. I feel like this movie plays it pretty safe as far as movies go, specifically Marvel movies. It plays it right down the middle. It's pretty much exactly what you would think it is. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
There's not a whole lot to complain about from an MCU standpoint or just from a movie in general. It's like it's a pretty standard fare espionage kind of intrigue. Not even political intrigue. They don't even go in that direction. Just kind of
Well,
like there's some
there's a
nefarious force.
there's a tiny bit, but not really. Yeah,
I
you
mean,
can't really
I
say.
mean, it's not like a Republican Democrat kind of thing. It's just more like
Mhm.
powers that be and nefarious, you know, I don't know, uh clandestine operations kind of thing. But that stuff is largely, I mean, in this movie, it's completely apolitical. So
Mm.
I don't see you getting your feelings hurt by this movie unless you're just determined to get your feelings hurt by something. But you got really nothing to grasp onto. You know what I mean? Um, yeah, it's just not there. As far as this movie is concerned, it's a totally it's a totally acceptable Saturday morning popcorn movie.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's fine. Uh it's a Marvel movie. It works, It's not the best of what Marvel has to offer. It's not one of the greatest Marvel
No,
movies.
no.
Not even close. It's not one of the worst movies. Not even
It
close.
really isn't. No,
It
yeah,
is a straight down the line Saturday morning popcorn movie. You get in, you get out,
yeah,
and you're cool. I got no real complaints about this movie.
yeah,
It doesn't take any real chances. It doesn't do anything groundbreaking, like you said. It's just a straight MCU fare. Go check it out. It's Phase 5. It's cool. Um, I got no complaints about the movie. There's nothing really to complain about. It's pretty like I mean, the only things you would complain about are things that like maybe didn't line up with the comic books or narrative stuff, I guess. Um, but again, compared to the large corpus of MCU films from phases 1 to 4, it's fine. It just fits right in there somewhere. It's it's a cool movie. It's good. I think the
yeah.
strongest aspect of the movie is the personal relationships and the conversations and the
Exactly,
banter.
exactly.
Anthony Mackie is just kind of he's cool. He's fun. I like him as a person. I like him as a character.
Yeah.
He's
Hmm.
engaging, he's winsome, he's got a cool personality. He's yeah, he's just someone that's fun to watch and to be invested in his story.
Hmm.
He's
Hmm.
not too over the top. He's not monotone. Like he's just yeah, I could watch more movies starring him or with
Yeah.
him as a major character. He
He,
was always
he's
a cool character. Like I
he
never had an
yeah
issue with him.
he's always been a great character in
Yeah.
the series. You know, he's always been the like one of the like most normal human sort of characters in the film in the series, and I think that's part of like what we really liked about him when we first met him. You know, Captain America first came across him, like we could tell that yeah, like he's highly driven. He's definitely you know very fit. He is you know close to what he's what they say in the movie. He's close to like what we would aspire to be. You know, as a human being, as a in relationship with other people and in relationship with the world. And I think that still really works. I know, yeah, people wind up saying, you know, this is not my Captain America. My Captain America is Steve Rogers. And it's like, fine. That's totally okay. He's not supposed to
You
like
got like
erase
7 or
Steve
8
Rogers.
movies.
Exactly, exactly.
Like
And
like they had him die, a completely like honorable, favorable death. He went back and he married his love of his life and like he did
mm-hmm,
exactly what he set out to do.
mm-hmm,
There's no there's no issue. He wasn't I mean
yeah,
he passed the shield on to onto Falcon,
yeah, yeah,
listen, these actors
mm-hmm,
have contracts. They're only
yeah,
contracted for so many movies. Like
yeah,
his character arc had ended very
totally.
well.
Yeah,
Like
it
like,
did.
he was there on the bench as an old man. He got to live his life. Like he got I mean, what more could you ask for? I
Mm-hmm.
mean, the movie, like Endgame literally ends with him dancing with the love of his life,
Yes,
Agent
yes,
Carter, like
yes. Mm-hmm.
it's a storybook ending. He
Yeah.
did all the cool stuff. I mean, for goodness sakes, Endgame is like the Captain America show, right? And Anthony Mackie, Hawk, or sorry,
Falcon.
Falcon,
Yeah.
like he contributed to like the climax of that movie, on was it on your
On
left
your
or on your
left.
right?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
On your left,
The
on your
on
left,
your left.
on your left, and then like okay, I was sitting right next to it was Josiah's birthday. We were watching this on opening day, and again, I was just focusing on other things in the movie, so like I kind of didn't catch that at first. But
Hmm.
I heard there's rumbling in the movie theaters, right? People are like, "Oh my goodness!" And then all those circles,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
those Doctor Strange circles start opening. He's like, "Oh dear God, here we go!" And then he
Hmm.
gets he gets his hammer. No, he gets his shield back, and then he finally, the thing they've been hinting at for like 4 or 5 movies.
Hmm.
Finally, Avengers
Hmm.
assemble.
Assemble. Yep. Bum,
Everybody's
bum,
losing their
bum, bum.
freaking minds.
Hmm.
But that
Bum, bum,
scene
bum,
wouldn't
bum,
have been
bum,
able to
bum.
take place without Falcon,
Yeah, I mean, they yeah
right?
they built that up.
Without
Yeah,
Winter
they
Soldier. He's running
Mhm.
around Capitol Hill or whatever on your left, on
Mhm.
your, it's like, oh my goodness. It's like
Exactly,
he's that
man.
guy. I don't know why people like. I know why people hate. Josiah, you and I both know why people are hating on this guy.
We
Let's
do,
be clear about that.
we do know.
You know,
Yes, it is
what's the
very
color of
clear.
my phone? Anyway,
So
like
Logan,
we understand.
Logan in our chat, they wound up agreeing with yeah, Falcon being instrumental and leading to that epic scene, you know, with Cap.
Iconic moment
Iconic
in all
moment.
of NCU history, right?
Mm-hmm.
He didn't get in the way. They didn't like make it all about him. No, they just like that's the Captain America show. Like you I mean, that's if that's not your Captain America, okay, fine, fair enough, I guess. But like,
He's not supposed to be the same person. He's not supposed to erase, you know, Steve Rogers.
yeah.
He's supposed to be a new
This is
person.
consistent with the comic books as I understand.
Yeah.
And again, like one of the greatest Marvel movies is Winter Soldier.
Yeah,
Like that's one of the best ones.
it is.
Like you're not lacking for any kind of Captain America, Steve Rogers Captain America. He's had his run. It was a spectacular run.
Mm.
My hats off to Kevin Feige for like pulling that off.
Yeah.
It's like,
Mm-hmm.
you're just like, oh, well, he's not my captain. Like, well, clearly he's not. That's the whole point. He's a new Captain America. Now, if
Mm-hmm.
you don't like
Mm-hmm.
that because of reasons,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
then all right, then so be it. But that doesn't make the movie bad. It just
Mm-mm.
means that you have a problem with the new Captain America for reasons.
Yeah.
So,
Exactly. I'm way more okay and understanding, like I was saying earlier, of people not liking this film because it doesn't do anything brand new in the actual plot areas.
yeah,
So you bring up Winter Soldier, and we do already have the storyline of, you know, the villains taking advantage of the heroes in these safe environments and using you know, agents and people and sort of like incepting their mind and making them do things that, you know, they want to do. Obviously, with Winter Soldier, there was like literal programming, and with Hydra, like they knew what they were doing. This film has the
right.
like one little fold of the leader character who is a Hulk villain. He's figured out some sort of technology to be able to just like expose people and like control them just via their like phones or screens and stuff like that. So it's
Yeah,
like,
like basically they had their phone. It was like a big, giant, bright light,
mhm.
which suggests to me that he was probably just showing them a Taylor Swift video. You know what I
Oh
mean? Like
yeah, yeah, uh-huh.
that's enough to turn you into a cold-blooded murderer,
Yeah,
And so, you
understood.
know, so I mean that much it seemed obvious to me, like,
Got it,
but
got it. So you're saying
but
this is a more timely movie, and it's using current technologies and current, you know, culture instead of relying upon 80s
yeah,
Russian Cold War brain manipulation techniques.
like who's texting me? Gilmore Girls episode. Ah. I don't know. I mean, I could be wrong. That makes sense to me. So, make of it what you
Hmm.
will.
Hmm. Yeah. I also
Uh,
can see the people's frustration with like, well, okay, if the main biggest conflict is over the celestial being and the fact that it has minds of adamantium, well, potential minds of adamantium within it, um, I get it. I get it. It's not the most like exciting thing because partially we already had Deadpool and Wolverine, so it's like why is adamantium a surprising new thing within the MCU? Like we have full on Wolverine in a movie half a year ago. Um,
yeah. So
so
here's my question about that. Okay, so
yeah,
two things.
yeah,
The first one is I'm always curious. I'm always a little confused whenever they say, "Oh, we found this new material and we can make it." Its applications are myriad, right?
yeah. From medical to
Adamantium has the power to
military.
transform. Blah 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 blah. Right? Now,
Hmm.
if
Hmm.
adamantium is supposed to be indestructible, how are they able to mine this stuff in the first place? What tools are they using that won't break when trying to mine for adamantium? Like, is it some kind of
Yeah,
special
yeah.
laser, diamond cutting? I don't know. Okay, so suspension of disbelief. Fine,
Sure,
whatever.
sure, sure.
Okay.
Well,
Same
with
thing
I
with
mean,
vibranium, like how are they able to like
yeah,
mold this stuff and make it?
I know, I
I don't know.
understand. So I guess my guess then would be, with adamantium, like you can maybe destroy the materials around it to extract it. So maybe you like initially can't like break it up into smaller pieces. Maybe you could just excavate like what's around it to like remove it from where it's at. The other thought that I would have is when they actually use it in the Weapon X kind of um, operation, they melt it down and apply it to
Right.
Logan's skeleton, via. So it's like, yeah, it's indestructible for in a number of applications, but melting it and, yeah, excavating around is probably what's possible. I mean,
Yeah,
they don't explain that kind of a thing in the movie,
like maybe
but
in its raw form, it's somewhat malleable. I think the thing was like when they poured it on Logan's skeleton when he was Weapon X, right? I think once it
yeah,
hardened, then it became indestructible. Like once it was melted and then it hardened and solidified, and at that point it was completely indestructible.
yeah, hmm
Maybe.
yeah.
But yeah, and other than that, you could probably answer this better than me. For those who might not know or might be interested, what would be the key differences between adamantium and vibranium in the
Mm.
Marvel universe, either in the movies or in the comic books? Like, what are the main key characteristics or differences between these two super materials?
Yeah, yeah, they've been pretty similar, I think, in execution for both movies and comics. What I understand is adamantium is stronger. It's potentially the strongest material in the universe. May not be, but it's one of the strongest in the universe. But that's like basically all it is. It's like crazy strong. So with Wolverine, obviously he gets a good amount of his like indestructibility and impervious kind of like nature from that. Classically, you need like Magneto or something to be able to like manipulate him and pull it off him or whatever. So, anyways, there's that. Vibranium, still very strong, not as strong, but because of that, they give it the ability to absorb and release energy. Um, so classically in Black Panther movies, and even in this film, since Falcon has a suit of vibranium, you see the energy storage through the like the purple aura, and then a release of through the
Yeah.
purple aura as well.
So it stores kinetic energy as potential energy and then redistributes it or redirects it or
Yeah,
shoots it out back as kinetic energy
yeah,
to an opponent or an object.
yeah. And I'm sure if we went back to the Black Panther movie and some other things, it probably has an ability to channel not just kinetic energy, maybe other forms of energy in a good well, but the main one seems to be kinetic energy. But I think they were using it like in all of their technology in Wakanda, so it probably has positive energy kind of manipulation in a number of levels.
Yeah, it's like the ultimate superconducting material.
Hmm
So like, for batteries or for anything like that, it would
Yeah.
probably be like a wonder material.
Yeah.
Okay. So, so yeah, in case you were wondering, in the Marvel universe, both in the comic books and in the films, there are these
hmm
two kind of magical wonder metals,
Yeah.
adamantium, adamantium, and vibranium. And so, yeah, they both have their own kind of qualities and stuff. Now, up until this point, like there was no adamantium in the Marvel universe in the MCU. There was in like the 20th Century Fox X-Men movies,
hmm
but there wasn't in the MCU. Just like there were no mutants in the MCU, right?
hmm hmm
Mutants were like the 20th Century Fox movies, and so um it still remains to be seen how like Wolverine might be introduced into future films. I mean, there's so many. Correct me if I'm wrong. Same, and also with Deadpool, there are multiple comic book series with like Deadpool and Spider Man where they kind of team up,
Yeah.
and they're both kind of like they're both smart Alex, so they both kind of like banter with each other. That could be
hmm
a whole lot of fun if of Tom Hardy, not Tom Hardy. Tom Hardy is Venom.
Tom Holland.
Tom Holland and what's I'm blanking on
Ryan
his name.
Reynolds.
Ryan Reynolds. I want to say Blake Lively. Apparently, they're in the news a whole lot. There's some drama going on.
Some
I
stuff
have
going
not been
on.
following it. I don't know. I don't want to
Yeah.
know. I don't care.
Yeah.
But between those two characters, there could be a whole lot of fun banter going on. They
Mm-hmm.
could play around with like there could be a PG-13 version and a rated R version. You know, they could play around with that a
Mm.
lot. And they would probably make a whole lot of money doing it. I highly
Mm.
encourage them to play around with that. But I think Deadpool had some series with Wolverine as well, if I'm not mistaken. Is there a comic book series with the two of them where they do stuff? Because they were both part of Weapon
For
X,
sure.
technically,
For
right?
sure. Yeah.
They're both
Yes.
Canadian.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So,
Yeah.
like, again, I mean, Wolverine and Deadpool have already teamed up, in the movie Wolverine and Deadpool.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, specifically, I just remember walking into a comic book scene, a Deadpool Spider-Man. I'm like, oh man, I would love to see that on the big screen. That would be
Mm-hmm.
a whole lot of fun.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see where the money's at, what gets allocated, and who's down to do what projects.
Mm-hmm.
So with
Yeah.
Tom Holland, just on like a real life note, like he is engaged to Zendaya.
Mm-hmm.
And apparently there's a quote we're saying, like, hey, once I get married and have kids, like I'm kind of done with movies.
Oh
Which
wow. That's
first of all, I'm like, A plus to that.
hey.
I'm right there
Yeah.
with you, brother.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Um, that's for you, Tom.
It's for you,
So
Tom.
like I'm like, but can we get that Deadpool Spider-Man movie before you start having kids? You know,
I know,
I don't
right?
know. I'm
Yeah, yeah.
just thinking out loud.
It's fair.
I
It's
totally
fair.
support his decision to do that. Like, I think that's awesome. Like, get the heck out of this
Mm-hmm.
weirdo world of Hollywood. But at the same time, like, bro, there's at least a couple Spider-Man movies we can get. And if we
Oh
can
yeah.
get
Yeah, yeah.
Deadpool Spider-Man team up, would love it. And
Yes,
so
yeah, yeah. Spider-Man has just now become the like full adult Spider-Man that we like know and love from the comics. I mean, that's what they revealed to us at the end of No Way Home. That he
yeah,
finally has like the full red and blue suit that doesn't have like the training black lines on it and stuff like that. And he's on
he
his
doesn't have the
own.
Stark suit.
Like yeah,
Yeah.
he's not following Stark. He's not little man following the big superhero character anymore. So it would I am very interested to see full on Spider-Man. And look, like with this movie, just give it to us simple. Just give it to us simple. Don't have like a huge number of crossover characters. We do in Brave New World have Bucky show up. Not a giant surprise. Not even more surprising to be honest. Um, we have Liv Tyler show back up as Betty Ross. Still not a giant, scene stealing, movie stealing, attention stealing kind of element. And I actually
Right.
really
Nothing
like that.
steamrolls over Captain America and
Mm-mm,
company, which is good.
mm-mm. Yeah, exactly. And that's what we need. Upcoming, hopefully with Fantastic Four, we'll probably have like one or two little moments of them crossing with someone. But ultimately, I just want to see the titular characters center of attention for 99% of the film. You don't need to like necessarily set up like a huge crossover. And I'm sure with Fantastic Four there will be the need to set up like Doom and because I think that next April after Fantastic Four we get the Avengers Doom movie. So they're gonna have to set up a little something, a little bit of something, admittedly. But if 95% of the film is just like focused on just doing the film itself, I think that's what needs to happen. And so with Captain
Right.
America here, like it's mostly its own film. Are there things that are gonna extend beyond? Yeah, whatever. But it's not like you needed to have watched this film to get set up for the next film specifically. It gets to
Right.
be its own story overall.
Right. And yeah, I mean, I feel like there are some characters that I would like to see more of, like Colossus, who only shows up in the Deadpool movies. And
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
is her name Starscream or the other girl that's in the teenage girl that's
Oh,
in the Deadpool movie?
Negasonic Teenage
Negasonic.
Warhead.
Yeah. Like bring
Mm-hmm.
those characters over. Even bring Cable back. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Oh yeah,
totally down with all
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
And then we can make jokes about how Cable looks oddly familiar. He looks oddly similar to
A human
Thanos.
human
You know,
version of Thanos. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Uh-huh.
yeah. I mean, listen, that's right for Kevin Reynolds to go crazy and run with that. You know what I'm saying?
Ryan Reynolds. Yeah.
Did I say Brian Reynolds?
you
Brian
said,
Reynolds.
you said Kevin Reynolds.
Oh, sorry. I'm thinking
Dang.
Kevin Feige and then Ryan. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So like
Uh-huh.
that's ripe for like some one liners, some zingers. Like let's just do that. Let's have fun with the characters that we already have, right?
Mhm.
Like Deadpool is a fun character. Let's just have like put him in situations with characters that we already know and let him have fun.
Yeah.
Let him break the fourth wall. Like let him do all these things. I
Mhm.
remember reading, like I was flipping through a Deadpool comic book at Borders or something like that, or Barnes and Noble, where like he actually goes in and like basically wipes out the guy that's drawing him in the comic book. Like he cops out of the page and like, takes out the artist, like
I
he
mean,
just does weird stuff. Deadpool is, he's the merc with a mouth. He's got an attitude, he's got a sense of humor, he's a smart ass. Like just let's just play to the strengths of all these characters and just make fun movies. Um,
mhm.
like this Phase 5 could be super dope if they just like play to their strengths.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
introduce new
yeah.
characters and just play to their strengths. Like, the
Mhm.
new Captain
Mhm.
America is going to be the leader of the Avengers. That's cool.
Mhm.
Let him do his thing. Negasonic Warhead, she can join.
Mhm. Mhm.
Wolverine can pop in, he can join.
Mhm.
Colossus, he can join. Deadpool can join.
So yeah,
Fantastic Four.
talking about
Yeah.
these side characters. What did you think about Sam's relationship with Joaquin Torres, who winds up being Falcon in Captain America: Brave New World?
It was cool. It was fine. Um, I, again, I feel like they wrote him. They played it pretty safe with the humor,
Mhm.
and so
Mhm.
I mean, he didn't say anything salacious or controversial. So it's like he's just making little quippy one-liners and stuff. It was
Mhm.
cool. He's a sidekick. Like he just said sidekick things. I didn't have any issue with it. He
Mhm.
was he was a
Mhm.
totally fine character. I would be happy to see more of him in future movies. He's going to be part of the Avengers too.
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
he can do stuff. Hopefully he gets to meet Ant-Man and they get to do some cool stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah. He's definitely excited to meet Ant Man. Mhm.
Yeah. They set it up. Go ahead and go ahead and let there be some payoff. Let there be some,
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
fulfillment.
Mhm.
Some what gift fulfillment, whatever the term I'm thinking
Yeah,
of.
yeah. Wish
Like
fulfillment.
just wish fulfillment. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's
Mhm.
just do the things. This phase 5 or whatever do you want to call it does not have to be complicated. Just make it fun. If people go and just have
Yep.
fun with these characters that they like, you know, and they see how not woke these movies are or whatever, because there's just a bunch of weirdos that live on the internet that are just trying to find,
Yeah.
they're trying to find the woke in everything. It's like
Don't worry
because they
about
don't
him.
have a life.
Don't worry
Yeah, like
about
they're
him.
just like let these people like these people are gonna fade into obscurity and complete irrelevance one way or the other.
Mhm.
Just make movies that are fun, right?
That's all it comes
That's
down
all you got
to.
to do.
Yeah.
Yeah, even Isaiah, the older gentleman that was, the older
Mhm.
black gentleman, right?
Yeah. Isaiah
Like
Bradley.
give him give him a suit and let him give him some adamantium brass knuckles and just let him punch bad guys in the face.
Yeah.
I'm so
Brother.
down with that.
Brother, I want to say,
Let him just charge people like a linebacker. Let him
mhm.
charge people like a defensive end and just cold cock people in the face. If it's
Mhm.
aliens or the invasion or the next bad guy, just let him just punch people in the face.
Yep. Yep.
I would
Yep.
pay money to see that. I like his
Mm.
character. He's a fun character. He can go back and forth.
Mm.
Who
Mhm. Mhm.
again, I said we talked about this earlier. If we get a scene in Wakanda where it's him, it's it's Captain America, it's Shuri, and who's the other character? Who's the other character I was thinking of? I'm blanking on it, but like if you got all those characters,
Sam.
oh man,
Um.
and a cool like Wakanda scene, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
And they just have some fun banter and they go back and forth. Like people would love to see that. Um, and again, they don't have to be talking about social issues. They don't have to quote unquote, make it quote unquote woke, whatever the heck that means.
Yeah, no,
Like
just let
they can
let
just have
them be the
fun.
personalities that they are. Like I think about in
Yeah,
Brave New World the scene where Joaquin is introduced to him in the training facility that they have. Yeah, all the personification of their characters was done well. Like Joaquin was,
yeah,
trying to razz this guy, this older man that he had no idea who he was, and that's
right.
that's a little bit telling of his character. Isaiah was not taking it in one way, shape, or form. Next thing you know, he
It was
winds up
good.
uh, he winds up punching a boxing bag or a practice bag across the room, and surprised them.
Yeah,
And then he continues to razz them like in his own way. Yeah, it's
yeah.
awesome. It was awesome.
Listen,
But yeah, Carl Lumley plays Isaiah Bradley. He side note, back in the '90s when I was a kid, he played this superhero character named Mantis, where he was
oh, okay.
when he was a man that was paraplegic. Yeah, paraplegic, kind of like Xavier develops a suit that allows him to be able to walk and be a superhero. So, my head canon is he would be Black Mantis or something like that. Once he gets a suit.
Give him a vibranium suit with some adamantium brass knuckles and then maybe like an adamantium star in the middle, and
Mm,
call it a day. And just let
mm.
him rant. Let him go punch bad guys in the face.
Dude,
That's all
crazy
he's got to do.
respect to that actor though for the running sequence that he has in this film. Man, I actually don't know his age right now. Here, let me see. Let me look up. Sorry, man, to spoil it. Yeah, I think you're cool. You're cool. 73. So this brother was running around set, I'm sure for hours. At age 73. Geez, the respect I have for that guy is insane.
Bro, can you imagine if him and Deadpool start talking and jiving and going back and forth about whatever? Can you
Mm.
imagine how much fun that would be? Or if him
Hmm.
and Logan, Wolverine, start talking and bantering about stuff. Like Logan's like 100 years old.
Oh,
Like,
they definitely
bro,
have to have come across each other. Yeah, I'm
bro,
sure. Yeah, yeah,
there's
yeah,
so
yeah,
many opportunities for just this character alone, just
yeah,
to do
yeah, yeah.
fun, cool stuff and have
Yep.
fun conversations and interactions with
Mm.
people. Like this can, I mean, oh man, I hope I get a call from Feige's office, like for ideas on like how to make this fun and cool. Like this can so easily be done. It
Yeah,
doesn't have to be political. It doesn't have to be controversial. Just make fun characters that people like talking to, right?
yeah,
I think this movie
yeah,
did
yeah,
that pretty well.
yeah, yeah.
I
What'd you
got no
think of
complaints.
Sam and Thunderbolt Ross's interactions?
Yeah, they were fine. Like I think
Mm-hmm.
they were measured. They made sense given the context of the film and what was going on. Like there was
Mm-hmm.
going to be a rift between them, obviously.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That
Um,
rift was a little heavy-handed. For a moment, for the time being, when he brings Sam into his presidential security bunker,
yeah,
and
the
is like,
Pentagon bunker or whatever.
yeah,
Yeah.
and he's like, "You're done. You're not Captain
Yeah.
America. You stop trying to be Steve Rogers. You're not." Yeah, it's like, yeah, you're going a little bit far. Like just a few minutes ago, you're like praising this guy and trying to bring him in,
Yeah.
admittedly using him as a pawn. But yeah, but yeah, I
I
mean
mean,
the
maybe
relationship.
he was having an emotional moment. He's spoken, because
Yeah,
he just
he-
had an assassination attempt on his life.
it's
You know what I
true.
mean?
It's true. It's
So
fair. It's fair. Hmm.
yeah, I guess my biggest negative, and this is a negative in like any kind of movie where there's like some mastermind
Mm.
orchestrating everything behind the scenes.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, all right, you knew this was gonna happen, and that's why you're here to do this thing. And like when the Navy SEAL was like, "Hey, we found out what's in the pills that he's been taking," and
Hmm.
he just shows up there and cranks some dial and kills the guy. I'm like, all right,
Hmm.
okay. It's kind of like a MacGuffin, but not as an object or device, but a MacGuffin is just like, all right, I guess this has to happen
I
so
mean, you
that the next
can't.
thing can
Yeah,
happen.
yeah, yeah. Exactly. I mean, you can't be mad.
Eh,
He's using math and probability and statistics and science. He's using the most sciency of science to figure this
Yes,
out.
Chat GPT, what's going to happen next? It's
I
like,
know,
all
right?
right.
Yeah.
All right,
Hmm.
fine. But I actually like that Navy SEAL guy. I kind of wanted to see more of him. I'm like, oh,
Yeah. He got he
he's
got
kind
he
of a cool
got.
character. Oh man,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
sucks that he
yeah,
has
yeah.
to die. Um,
Dang, it was a straight up death. He was like, it'd be too bad if I turned this dial and it stopped your heart.
uh, such a lame way to go. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Hmm.
whatever. But yeah,
Go
Giancarlo,
Mimi's.
I always like seeing him on screen. He's always
Hmm.
a highlight. He's
Yeah.
always fun. Even in that
Every time.
when he was doing the Star Wars thing, was it season 2 of The
Oh yeah,
Mandalorian?
in Mando. Hmm. Hmm.
They had him play a cheesy character, but I thought he made the most of it, you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah,
They kinda had him
definitely.
die a cheesy death, but I think he made the most of what he was given,
In
uh,
Mando. Hmm.
in Mando, yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And,
So
and in this one, he's not dead. He's not dead. Yeah, he
no!
actually
I
kind of
thought
has
maybe
a
he was
bit of a
going to.
cold line, you know?
He took a blade to the lungs, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
But
yeah,
no, he
yeah.
pulled through,
Yeah, yeah. I
and he's
actually
like, you
like
know,
his
"Hey."
his his last line of the movie. Also, I thought that was pretty cold. Where he or
Oh, he's like, so Captain America was like, "Oh, if you get out, come find me or whatever." He's like, "When I get out." I'm like, "Yeah, I want to see this dude again.
yeah,
Let's
uh
go.
huh,
Let's
yep,
go." Because he's
yep.
just a fun character. I just like the dude, like he's a bad
Mhm,
guy. He's clearly a bad guy. And just a little bit of
mhm.
masterminding, for him too. I mean, he had a henchman on deck ready for him in Mexico. Okay, fair enough. Um, but I just like listening to
With
him
him?
talk. He's
Yeah,
just an
yeah, yeah,
engaging
yeah.
character. He he's
Was
like the
it? Was
same
it?
engaging character was in Breaking Bad, like
Yeah. Exactly. Oh
he's a
yeah. He,
likable
he's
guy.
playing. He's playing a very similar, temperament.
Yeah.
In evil villain delivery. That's fine. I mean, like that's what people want him for. So like that's up
Do
to
it,
the
bro. Like,
directors and them like whether they want to
yeah.
him to be the same ish character or not. Look, I hear people being like, "Oh man, he could have used an IED or a sniper rifle to take out Sam Wilson from a distance." Fine, fine, that's okay. But maybe this guy just likes getting dirty, being right up at the scene and doing it, hands on. That could.
Right, right, right. Listen, if we're gonna go down the road of like he could have killed him any number of ways, like that's the whole movie. At any point in time, Captain America could have caught a sniper rifle from somebody. Like, if we're gonna play that game, like it never ends, because like
Yeah,
there's not a
yeah.
scene where somebody couldn't have taken him out with a sniper rifle if they wanted to. You know what I'm saying?
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
Like every single scene was an opportunity for someone to take him out. You know what I mean? He's
Hmm.
not wearing any particular armor here all the time. You
No.
know, I don't know. It's just like that's just superhero movie stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and
At
look,
any
to be
point in
fair,
time,
let me add in a nitpick I shared with Austin. So the vibranium suit, we know Falcon has his vibranium suit. Okay, all right. So he's got this extreme level of durability, energy, control with it, and yeah, he's flying around the beginning of the movie with it. Lands like in the epic, sort of pose where the wind sort of like knocks the guys back. We saw in the trailers.
yeah.
Uh, nitpick. Black Panther, he takes the heart shaped herb to become superhuman slash beyond peak of human capability, and then he has the suit on top of it that gives him the durability and energy projection and stuff. His suit doesn't necessarily make him more capable, physically, strength wise, power wise, you know, up to a certain point. So Falcon in this movie though was shown to be nearly just as capable as Black Panther was. So the nitpick is just because he's wearing a suit that gives him a heightened durability, energy projection, doesn't mean he should be stronger in every way like Black Panther. So if he's doing Black Panther like levels of feats of power, it really shouldn't happen because he's still a regular man in a durable suit. So him getting punched and knocked around by Red Hulk at the end of the film, and even at the beginning when he lands all super fast and hits the ground. Look, this man inside the suit should be fractured into a million pieces at
Bro,
any
his
of these
knees
moments.
should be beef stew, bro.
Yeah.
Like,
Uh huh.
if we're gonna play this
Yeah.
game, it was like then we
Yes.
either we
Yeah.
don't we just don't have a movie, or they
Yeah.
have to write a radically different movie
Yeah.
where all these things are meticulously accounted for, and then it's
Yeah.
not an MCU movie anymore. Like we
Mm-hmm.
like we're either gonna have a superhero movie or not. Like he's either
Mm-hmm.
gonna be able to do superhero things or not. Like
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
these are legitimate nitpicks in the realm of like reality,
Yeah.
but like these are superhero movies. There's all kinds of suspension of disbelief.
Yeah, he
You know what I
shouldn't
mean? So
he shouldn't be able to fight Red Hulk in any way, shape, or form. You know,
he
like
shouldn't be able to fly at Mach 5.
uh-huh,
Like his
uh-huh.
whole body should be liquefied midair. Like he should be done.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah.
mean?
Yeah, and there's one scene where he jumps on top of a missile and jumps off to knock it into the water. It's like even he landed on a missile. There's no way him jumping off a missile is gonna knock it off course enough that it goes into the ocean or something. You know,
Yeah, I mean, like,
but you know, look, yeah, yeah, yeah.
what are we
We're
asking for? You
totally.
know,
Hmm, hmm.
again, if we're gonna start like we can start with the very first Iron Man movie and just
Hmm.
nitpick. Like, there's just so many things to nitpick. There's just so many things,
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
there's no way he should have survived in that suit, especially when it got all cold. Remember that whole thing? You
Hmm.
know,
Oh
um,
yeah, yeah. When he's up in the atmosphere, yeah, yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. It's like, oh, the cold. It's like, yeah, I mean, that's true. That's a real thing. Like that cold would get to you. But like, you know, uh, he should have frozen to death. He should have gone in like instant hypothermia, passed out, and then fallen into the river, to the Manhattan River or whatever he was, and his heart would have stopped. You know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
listen,
They could have had it where
listen.
Jarvis controlled the suit and flew him to safety while he's passed out, but then you have to have an extra beat of like waking him up and all that stuff.
Yeah, there's all kinds of things. Again, listen, if we really want to get into that, then at some point I got to do my review of Iron Man 3, which is by far the worst Marvel movie ever made.
You know,
Ever made.
yeah, it.
Don't even get me started on Iron Man
I
3.
know, I
I
know.
saw that
No,
movie when I was living in Tokyo, and I
yeah.
was excited to see it. And I walked out of the movie like, you got to be out of your freaking mind. You got to be absolutely kidding me.
Hmm.
This is a Marvel movie. They actually did this.
Yeah,
Listen, I
yeah,
don't want to
yeah, yeah, yeah,
derail
yeah, yeah.
this. I don't want to derail this movie review.
Don't do it.
Uh,
Don't do it. Don't do it. I'll throw in Thor: The Dark World is my least favorite MCU movie. All right, so let's just move on before we even
okay,
fall
yeah,
down
I'm
the.
already like, it's already like we got to move on. I can't. We can't.
Yeah.
We got to make a video dedicated to me just ranting about how bad Iron Man 3 is. But this is not that video.
It's not. It's not.
This is not
It's
that
not.
live stream. So
Yeah, yeah.
we will save that for a rainy day.
All right.
Like
Yeah.
we have another slow season of movies. All right, Austin critiques Iron Man 3. And I just
Mm-hmm.
anyway, okay, so
So the last thing I'll
this
ask
movie, yeah.
is, all right. So you say you didn't see the trailers, but you knew Red Hulk was in this movie, right? Just based on like
Yeah, I
posters
mean,
and stuff.
I saw a clip of
Yeah,
it,
yeah, yeah.
like not the whole trailer, just the part where like I think his foot landed or something like that, or like his arm was in frame kind of thing. And yeah, I mean, so I knew Red Hulk was in the movie. I didn't know who Red Hulk was. I didn't have any. I just it could have been anybody. I didn't
Yeah,
I didn't
yeah,
know
yeah.
maybe it was going to be the bad guy that like turned himself into the Hulk or something. I don't know. It
Got it,
didn't really
got it.
matter to me who the bad guy was
Yeah, yeah.
or who the Red Hulk. It didn't matter to me. So I was like, okay, whatever. I'll take whatever the movie gives me.
One small pin.
Again,
I'll come back to that.
yeah,
Janelle says, "Let it be known, The Marvels isn't Austin's worst-rated Marvel film. That's a win in my book."
I
Nice.
haven't seen the Marvels, so
Oh, she has
full
it. He
disclosure,
has
I
it.
have not seen it.
Hmm. Man, you'll have to do that.
So
I'm curious. You'll have to do that. I'm very
yeah,
curious.
it's hard for me to pass up a movie that has Selma Hayek in it, but somehow I did it. So whatever. I'll watch it at some point.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
you
Yeah.
know.
So going back to the pin. Um, okay, so you didn't know who it was. That's actually good, but it's obvious in this film that Red Hulk is supposed to be the last act surprise of the movie, but then someone decided that they needed to show that detail to help market the film.
Yeah.
Was it? Do you wish that? Yeah, do you wish it was just kept under wraps the entire time, and it was a surprise
I
for the
mean,
film?
it depends. Like if that person is going to be persistent in the movie throughout, then yeah, if they show it in the trailer, that's fine. Because it's not supposed to be like this big reveal at the end of the movie to cap off the movie. But
Is
if
it
it's
not?
like, I mean, again, like I say, if it's the case that this
If it
person is
is the
going to be in
case,
the
yeah,
movie throughout,
got it,
then
got
I
it.
don't really care. Because you're gonna get quote unquote spoiled really early on in the movie. But if it's
Mm,
something that's supposed to be like kind of tie the movie up at the end, then yeah, you should probably leave it out of the trailer,
Mm,
This propensity of films to Batman v Superman, their trailer experience, is a horrible, horrible trend that's been going on for several years. Again, the worst, most egregious example of that is Batman v Superman. They
mm,
told you every single story beat. You don't even have to watch that movie. You can just watch the
mm.
trailer and know pretty much everything that's going to happen.
Yeah,
They showed you
yeah.
the bad guy, his final form. They showed you Batman. They showed you Superman. They showed you Wonder Woman. I'm like, well, then why do I need to
Mm,
watch the movie then? Like, you just
yeah.
showed me what's going to happen.
Mhm, mhm,
Now the only reason I'll watch the movie is just to fill in the finer details. But at that point, like, you're just waiting for things that you already know are going to happen. It's a
mm,
bad way to market a film. It's
mm,
really, really bad. They got to stop doing it. They really like. There has to be some sense of mystery and intrigue. It's a trailer. It's not a mini movie. It's a trailer. It's coming attractions.
mm. Yeah,
We've gotten away from that in films, and especially these action films. Like they just give away the whole shebang, and it's a bad habit. It's like it ruins the experience to some degree.
fortunately. Yeah.
Some films more egregious than others.
Yeah,
I
there
call it
there
the Batman v Superman syndrome.
mm, mhm. Yeah, there are 1 or 2 films that in the last year I think have had respectable trailers. Strange Darling was one of them, that I thought was actually intriguing to have watched the trailer before the film, but yeah, overall, yeah, we know, yeah, yeah, I mean, the frustrating part about this one is, 1, even if you didn't watch the trailer, you're gonna see him, like, plastered all over the marketing, so you don't want to avoid it in that way. That said, though, we did say the plot surprises and development wasn't like the strength of the movie. So it's like watching the movie. It feels like yes, it's supposed to be a nice surprise by the end of the film. So us having that build up almost feels a little bit like wasted time while you're watching the movie because we already know what it's building
Right.
up to.
Right.
Um, you know, thankfully, it doesn't take up so much time of the movie that like it feels wasted completely. So yeah, thankfully the relationships, the character dynamics, and the acting, especially with Anthony Mackie, Carl Lumley, um,
Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford was strong enough for me that I still wind up being enjoying the movie overall.
Right. Yeah, my only other critique is that there are scenes where it looked less like a movie and more like a Disney Plus show,
Mm,
particularly with the shield, the Captain America shield. In
mm,
some scenes, it looks super fake and super computer animated
mm,
in some scenes. And I attribute that to the fact that it was shot for IMAX, and sometimes IMAX is a bigger screen and it's like brighter, it tends to be. And so sometimes they'll make special effects that cater to that. So if you're watching it in just a regular screen, it can have like the effect of looking a little bit fake.
mm.
Or maybe it looked that way on the IMAX screen as well. But it was just to a point where in certain scenes it just noticed it just seemed like he was holding a piece of cardboard, that was a shield.
Yeah.
The shield should have some kind of weight to it. It should have some kind of heft to it. And the way it would bounce around walls and stuff, like it just you kind of lost that in some scenes. Um, like even in like Winter Soldier, or even in Captain America and the Winter Soldier, the Winters, where he's training, he's
Uh huh.
throwing it and he's catching it. Even in those scenes, it felt like the shield itself had a bit more like density or not density or heaviness to it. Just the physics of it just seemed a little bit more on point. In this
Yeah.
movie, it just seemed like he was throwing a little like a plastic, one of those ring frisbees, and
Mm.
those kind of those like rubbery ring frisbees.
Got it.
Bing, bing,
Yeah.
bing, 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 bing. So like
Okay.
when it hits somebody, it's like, is this really gonna hurt them?
Mm, mm.
So there's a little bit of that. It's not the worst thing. It just made it feel more like a Disney Plus show than a motion picture, than a feature film. In a couple scenes, not even in
Yeah.
all the scenes, just a couple scenes. It was like, this is kind of taking me out of it a little bit.
Mm.
That's pretty much it as far as my critiques go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you might say that like the bar is raised because like those Disney Plus shows, and from a production value, were actually really high quality. no matter how you felt about the story or whatever, the production value of those Disney Plus shows was actually really high. It was kind of like it was kind of like hovering between like a regular like TV show, like a
Yeah,
Netflix
yeah, yeah,
show, and like a feature film. It was kind of like playing hovering right around there in terms of the quality.
yeah.
But because of that, like it's hard to see the films as like a huge departure from the shows. And maybe that was intentional. Maybe
Mm,
they wanted to make those shows like an extension of the cinematic universe, so they
mm,
made them with a really high quality from a production standpoint and from a special effects standpoint.
yeah.
But yeah,
So you feel like
eh,
this film could have potentially been split up, extended maybe a tiny bit to be a Disney Plus series?
at
Did
this
it
point,
yeah.
yeah, probably. I mean, that's
Mm,
probably true of all of them at this point because the gap
mhm,
between like a television show and a movie, I mean, maybe to their credit or to their detriment, like they kind of bridged that gap as far as production value and the way that these shows look and how they look so close to actual films. Um,
mm, mhm.
they might have screwed themselves over by doing that. I don't know. I mean, if they had really corny, cheesy CW looking TV shows, that probably wouldn't have been good either. So there's probably a baseline of production value that they had to hit, but
Mm, mhm.
it just puts the movies in this weird space where either they have to look super, super good or they just end up looking too much like the like the Disney Plus show. Like when they had the Marvels, when they
Mm.
had that the movie with the 3 girls, I never saw that
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
I don't know if it was good or not. But even the trailer looked like a Disney Plus show. And so I'm like,
Mm.
that's kind of why I didn't want to watch it. I was like, it just looks like another Disney Plus show. It doesn't feel like a movie.
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
what are you gonna do?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, with
They
the
kind of painted themselves in a corner.
yeah, with the Disney Plus series, it seems like they're taking the budget of a film and extent and spreading it for a
Right.
number of episodes across a number of episodes. And yeah, they
Right.
are. I mean, that's part of the goal has been was to yeah lift up the quality of a series in a miniseries closer to the films. Um, Now maybe yeah maybe sometimes every now and then you feel the tension of the films kind of being brought down a little bit versus the series like rising up to a film. Maybe that's kind of what you're feeling a little bit. Yeah, and honestly, it does put a major challenge on the movies themselves to be movie level stories, movie quality, special effects and action sequences, um,
Yeah.
versus just an extended episode. Um, yeah. Yeah, maybe that's what some people are bumping up against as well. Maybe
Right.
for this film, they feel they might feel as if it could have just been a mini series versus this was
Yeah.
actual
They don't feel
movie
that
level stakes and
right. They don't feel like the movie going experience is justified because they've already seen all these Disney Plus shows, and this isn't far enough away from that Disney Plus show experience.
hmm hmm
So, yeah, that
which I
that might be what some people are dealing with when they
which I
watch these
certainly
movies.
can't fault them for because yeah, we all agree Winter Soldier and a number of the earlier films they they felt like movie moments, you know.
Yeah, but again, like, those movies were almost made in a different generation, like,
hmm
it's hard to compare those movies to, like, movies now. They were just I mean, the aughts, the 2000 through 2010, that kinda period, like the special effects that were in those movies were, like, super groundbreaking.
hmm
Like ILM, Industrial Light and Magic,
hmm
Wetaworks, and Digital Domain.
hmm
There's some other studios that did some in between work and did different parts, but those are the three main ones, and those are the three vanguard. When you think
Yeah,
about like visual effects,
yeah,
CGI, it's Industrial Light and Magic. That's the Godfather. It's Digital Domain. You know, gosh, it's Digital Domain. That's James Cameron's CGI VFX outfit.
yeah,
They did a lot of the special effects for Titanic way back in the day. And
yeah.
then there's Wetaworks, that's
Mm.
Peter Jackson, Lord of the Rings, and
Mhm.
all of those movies. And so like they're doing probably the bulk of the special effects.
Mm.
Um and so like because we've seen so many movies with such a high level of special effects, it's almost not fair to judge these movies. It's hard to compare these. We have so many other movies with so many extraordinary special effects. Like Thanos was like amazing. The way they pulled off Thanos, crazy work. You know, um,
It
it's hard to
really
repeat
is.
that
It
level
really
of visual
is.
effects. It's really really difficult. Um, yeah, and the stakes aren't nearly as high in this movie. Um, and so, oh, one other thing that I liked about this movie was just all the attention and all the love that Japan got. I
Yeah.
I'm a man who has a deep heart for Japan. I used to live there for a couple years, and
Mhm.
so I geek out whenever. Oh, Japan, Japan! He's going to Japan.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Yes,
It's
I
the
don't even care
Japanese fleet.
why.
I see
Yeah,
cherry
I'm like,
blossoms. Yeah.
yeah. I was like, oh wait, did they go to Japan for the cherry blossom? Ah, no, they're in DC. I thought maybe
Mm.
Seattle because they also have really nice cherry blossoms. If you go to
Mm.
University of
Mhm.
Washington, they have beautiful cherry blossom trees.
Yeah.
And so I was like, but as a part of me is like, oh, are they gonna go to Tokyo or are they gonna go to Kyoto and watch the cherry blossoms? That's cool. I would be down for that. Let's make
Yeah.
that like let's add another 30 minutes to the movie for that, you know?
Mm.
But
Mhm.
so yeah, I mean, they
Sadly,
had some
they
well-known
destroyed all those cherry blossoms by the end of the movie.
yeah. So yeah, they they had I think he's a pretty well-known Japanese actor. I've seen him in a couple things. Um, but I think the guy
We
he was
saw him a year ago in the Shogun series.
yeah, he's in the Shogun series and he's in the
Mhm.
Haji Netflix show.
Mm.
He's in that show as well.
Oh,
He
okay,
plays
okay.
a like a detective police officer
Oh, nice.
looking for his
What
brother
was it
or
called?
whatever. Haji Giri, like
Hajigiri?
obligation,
Oh,
duty, shame. I think that's what it translates to.
okay, okay.
It's a Netflix show. You can check it out.
Yeah. All right.
Um, so yeah, it was fun to see him.
Mhm.
Somebody other than Hiroyuki Sanada.
Mm, mhm.
Uh, yeah. I mean, I'm a huge fan of that guy. Don't get me wrong.
Totally,
He's in
totally.
one of my favorite Japanese movies, Twilight Samurai,
Mhm.
Tasogare no Samurai. I think it's as the name in Japanese.
Mm.
Phenomenal film. Phenomenal film. I saw that in college. I was like, it blew me away. It's amazing. So I'm a big Hiroyuki Sanada guy. He was also in Samurai. He was the guy that was, always beating up Tom Cruise and giving him a hard time.
Mhm.
Uh, so yeah. I'm a huge fan of that guy. He's a legend. But yeah, to see other than Hiroyuki Sanada and my goodness. So yeah, it was good to see some other Japanese actors get a little bit of shine. And so
Yeah, no, totally, totally.
yeah.
Um, all right,
So
man.
yay, Japan. But
Any
yeah, that's pretty
closing
much all I
thoughts on
got.
this? Yeah. Mhm.
Say go check it out. Like if you're not totally burnt out and fatigued on Marvel movies and Marvel series, yeah, check it out.
Oh yeah.
It's a totally fine movie. There's nothing I got
Hmm.
no real critiques of it. It's
You know
fine. It's
what?
good.
I just remember one last thing I want to say. Yes.
Okay.
The main villain of this film is basically a nobody. I like the actor well enough. I've seen him in a number of fun stuff like the what was the Ballad of Bucky Scruggs and stuff. But
Mm,
yeah, yeah, he's definitely one of the weakest parts of the movie. He's just an engine for the conflict and not particularly charismatic. He made a choice. He made an acting choice for the character to be a lot more controlled, monotone. There are some points that he makes about not necessarily being wrong about where he's coming from. He's not too dissimilar from what Sam Wilson wants as well in relationship to Thunderbolt Ross, but has gone about it an evil avenue. Sadly enough, by the end of the film, he does have potentially one of the most underwhelming
in
ending
credit scenes.
credit scenes we've had in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He basically says there's another world, and that there's things beyond ours, and it's like, wait,
Something bad is gonna happen.
yeah, uh-huh.
Captain America will return. I'm like, all right,
Mhm,
we're
mhm,
good.
mhm. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he said a whole bunch of word salad. Like it was like a whole bunch of like, all right, something bad's gonna happen. Dot dot dot. I'm like,
Mhm,
I've done the
mhm.
calculations in my head, and there are other worlds. I'm like,
You're like, "Wait a second, we've
what kind of
seen a million
calculations
of
did you
these
do to come to
movies."
that
Yeah,
specific
yeah,
conclusion?
yeah.
Like,
It's like, okay, there were that we of aliens from Thanos, from New York being invaded. Like, what new
yeah,
information are you sharing with us right now? Like,
Ultron. Yeah, like,
yeah, uh-huh.
all right,
Mhm,
bad guys incoming. I guess.
mhm.
I was wondering, is like, oh, because they have him in the underwater prison, but he happens
Yeah,
to be
the
right, like
raft.
in the
Yeah.
same underwater prison as the president Ross is.
Yep, yep.
So I was like, oh, this is all part of my plan. I'm like, "Ugh." I'm glad they didn't do that, but I'm almost kind of halfway expecting them to do that. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I just
Like,
think it's funny thinking of the order of events, before the credits, Sam's talking to the president of the raft, and then like during the credits, he's walking around the raft, and then he finally
yeah.
arrives at the leader's prison.
Oh, there you are. Hey,
Yeah,
I don't,
uh-huh.
I ain't got time for your back talk or whatever he said. I'm,
Mhm.
we have a very different sense of humor. He said something. I'm like, like,
Yes.
okay,
Yeah.
whatever. But
Uh-huh.
like they were kind of setting something up, but they were kind of not setting something up. Like it's so vague, and it's like, all right.
Mhm.
Like
Mhm.
in other end credit scenes, it was like very specific. It was something was being set up, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, but it's like incoming bad guy. Stay tuned to find out. I'm like, all right,
Mhm.
that's cool,
Mhm.
I guess. But yeah, you were right. It's pretty underwhelming.
Yeah. So
But
yes,
again, his
if
whole
if the
character,
villain has to be an absolutely amazing character for you, yeah, maybe pass on the film.
he's MacGuffin McBad guy. Like that's pretty much all he does. He's just like kind of like I kind of feel like he's kind of like a Riddler character ish, but he has like a little mind control component where he can control
Mhm,
people's minds randomly by playing along. You know,
mhm,
I feel like they could have done more with that. They could have really had fun with that. You know, like I don't know,
mhm,
like it could have been like he was like created a bunch of Agent Smiths, you know, something like
mhm,
that,
hmm,
and then
mhm,
they have to like run through a mall or get through some area, some crowded area. But they didn't do like they kind of did that a little bit because they're at a base, they're at a military base with the big satellites or whatever. It's whatever. It's fine.
yeah,
Um,
yeah,
I didn't feel strongly enough about it. You're right. He is kind of a dud as a bad guy, but like it's fine.
hmm,
I just don't have my feelings about it just aren't that strong one way or the other. So
sure,
I agree with you. It's like, yeah, this is kind of like whatever. But if it wasn't him, it would have been somebody else or something else. So I'm like, you know,
yeah, hmm,
I mean, let's keep it a whole buck. Was Ultron really that interesting of a bad guy? I mean,
yeah. It was definitely one of the
eh,
disappointing movies of the series.
Age of Ultron, yeah, I was like,
Hmm.
they got a bunch of rockets and they're lifting a whole country. Uh, this is this is a tall order. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, uh huh, uh huh,
All
yeah,
right,
yeah,
whatever.
uh huh.
Can you imagine trying to set that whole country down and everybody not exploding into a thousand pieces on impact? Again, complete suspension of disbelief, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
So okay,
Man.
fine, whatever. But again,
Yeah.
like he was just another bad guy. It's like again, still not as bad as Iron Man. Still not as bad
Ultron is typically a really fascinating villain.
in the comic
Yeah,
books.
yeah,
All
yeah. I
right.
mean, yeah. I mean, because yeah, he's the embodiment. I think what he was created by Hank Pym, the original Ant Man in the comics. They changed it to Tony
Oh,
Stark
interesting.
because yeah, Tony's the more popular character.
Ant Man
At this
didn't
point.
exist yet in the MCU.
No, and Hank Pym, yeah, certainly hadn't existed. I mean, technically, in the story later when we get Ant Man, Hank Pym's been around, but
Right.
but yeah, by that time in the movies, we don't have Hank Pym. Uh, I mean, he's supposed to be. Yeah, he's a fascinating character. I mean, we're in this age right now of AI, and we keep thinking, and we're always wondering about AI developing to the point of being able to think of it on its own and all that stuff. So there's a lot of potential with Ultron. It's just yeah, the way it was executed. Yeah, we may go back
Yeah,
to talk about that one day as well. But
I'm kind of nervous about like Stark GPT or whatever it is that they're gonna come up with in the next
uh,
couple movies.
yeah,
They're
yeah.
gonna have to say something. You know what I mean?
Mm,
We'll
mm,
see.
hmm Yeah, I
I
think just bring
mean,
Ultron back. He doesn't have to be gone. I'm sure he could have created a copy of himself in somewhere in the dark web or whatever it was, or on a thumb drive somewhere that then gets plugged in. Who knows what the heck.
yeah,
You know.
like the Chat GPT and these like large language models have kind of ruined a whole lot of like sci-fi plot lines. Because now it's like reality. You can talk to the intelligent bot and gives you, tangible information.
Mm,
Same thing with like iPhones. iPhones kind of ruined a whole lot of like intrigue and like communications and stuff like that. I have this phone that connects to a GPS satellite. Like that used to be a thing in the 80s and 90s. And now it's like, oh, you have an iPhone? Oh, okay, yeah, I got one of those too. Like
mm.
it's kind of hard. Like technology is catching up to a point where it's making certain forms of sci-fi kind of difficult
Yeah, yeah.
and like not really feasible anymore
They got to figure out
because it's
something
too.
new
Yeah.
somehow.
So we'll see what they
Yeah,
do.
yeah.
But
But
yeah,
yeah,
that's
man,
our
thanks for
review.
joining. Thanks for joining to for us to break down our feelings and thoughts on Brave New World,
Yeah.
Captain America
Yeah. Like, subscribe, hit
in
that notification bell
Washington
for
D.C.
all future notifications from the Super Cinema Bros. If you're in the comments or in the chat, if there's a specific movie that we have not covered, let us know. And if we're able to watch it, then we'll try to give it a look, give it a
Mm-hmm.
viewing.
We shall.
Otherwise, I keep saying this, but like at some point we're gonna like venture into like anime series or other TV series or something like that. Um, I'm interested to see if our viewers, whoever they are, what they would be interested in watching. So if you see this and you enjoyed the conversation that we had and you would like us to about something that you like, let
Mm-hmm.
us know and we'll take a look at it. I can't make any promises of what we are or aren't going to watch or review, but if it's reasonable, if it's not something that's super crazy, um, that's super racy, things that we can
Or
watch
crazy
with our
violent.
pastor.
Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm okay with hyper violent. I would take hyper violent over hypersexual. But like if it's like super hyper violent, I might not want to watch it anyway. You know what I mean? So it
Yeah.
just again, it just depends. Um, so I mean, I'm not promising that we're gonna watch everything that's recommended to us, but if it's something that we can watch and is cool, that's interesting, yeah, let us know. And then we can take a look at it. If we're able to watch it, if we're able to get access to it, if we're able to give it a review, then yeah, we'll definitely give it a look and we'll try to accommodate to the
Mm-hmm.
best of our ability. Um,
Mm-hmm.
any other last words?
No, I think I'm good. Yeah.
All
Thanks for
right.
joining us. Y'all are out there that have contributed to chat as well. And
Thank you.
yeah, we
We
really appreciate
appreciate
the
you. We see
engagement.
you. We acknowledge you, and we're grateful for your contribution to this live stream episode of the Super Cinema Bros. If there's nothing else, then I guess we'll call this a live stream. We'll call this a review.
Mm-hmm. Total
All
wrap.
right. All right. Well, you guys, God bless you. Have a wonderful day, and we'll catch you on the next one.
All right. Catch you next time.
Peace.